Hey guys, let's make some cakes. Period. This is a cake that we're going to be learning how to stack and dial today, so let's get into it. First thing you want to do is place some tape on your cake board, the one that you're going to be presenting your cake on. And then from there, you're going to place your first tier, which is your biggest tier, onto that cake board. My biggest tier is a 10-inch. So my next tier that I'll be placing on top of this 10-inch is going to be an 8-inch. So I'm measuring on top of my 10-inch, 2 inches in, because the tier that I'll be placing on top is an 8-inch. The reason why I'm measuring 2 inches in is so that when I place my dowels will be directly under that next tier, which is an 8-inch tier. So now that I have my measurements marked, I'm going to go ahead and start to dowel my cake. I placed a marker at the front of my cake because I know this is going to be the front of my cake. So now I'm going to go ahead and place my first dowel in, and it's going to be 2 inches in so that it's right underneath the next tier, which is an 8-inch. So we're going to place that in, and once we place our dowel in, we're going to go ahead and mark the place that we are going to be cutting. So we're going to mark at the very, very top of the dowel where we'll be cutting. I don't know if you can see that, but this is going to be where we'll cut the dowel. So once we do that, we're going to take it out and clip that very top part off so that we know exactly how high we'll be needing to clip the other dowels. I'll measure that right up with the next dowel and cut that as well because we'll be doing 5 dowels in this tier. You can do 6, but I prefer to do 5. 5 for me is just enough. These dowels that I'm using are actually straws and they're very sturdy when stacking and doweling your cake. There are different ones that you can use, but these are the ones that I use that I decided to go with, and they work just fine for me. So I'm going to place 5 dowels into this 10-inch, and I'm going to do the same with the 8-inch. I'm going to measure my dowel, and then I'm going to place them inside. With the 8-inch, I can do 4, but I still chose to do 5. Now, once we get our dowels into our cake, we're going to go ahead and add a bit of icing just to cover up the holes. This is going to keep our cake moist. We'll do this same exact thing, these same steps with the 8-inch tier that I'll be placing on top. And once we have our cakes dolled, we're going to go ahead and prepare our cakes to stack them. Now that we have all of our cakes dolled, I'm going to go ahead and stack my next tier, which is the 8-inch that's already dolled on top of the 10-inch. Once we stack our 8-inch, you want to make sure that it is placed nicely and evenly within the cake so that it's in the center. So now that we have our 8-inch stacked on top of our 10-inch, we're going to go ahead and place in a bamboo skewer, and we're going to push it all the way through the 8-inch and through the 8-inch cake board and into the 10-inch, if that makes sense. So basically, we're just pushing it right down through that cake board. And we're going to do that on both sides of the 8-inch. We're going to do it one on one side and one on the other side. Now, to get it all the way through, I used another piece of the bamboo stick to make sure that I pushed it down into the cake. And you'll know that it's down in there because you'll feel it and you'll actually hear it. Then we're going to go ahead and once again place some icing on top because remember our cake is down. Oh, this is just a little quick a quick song in the middle because while I'm doing and practicing my craft, I like to listen to music. And yeah, so I like to have fun as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place the next tier, which is the 6-inch tier, right on top of our 8-inch tier. Now, of course, our 6-inch tier is not doweled. Only our 10-inch and our 8-inch tier is doweled. So once we place our 6-inch on top of our 8-inch, you want to make sure that it's centered, and the cake should be cold, guys, so you're able to touch it and maneuver it where we need to place it without damaging the cake. Once we do that, we're going to place two bamboo sticks into that 6-inch tier. We're going to place one on one side and one on the other side. We're going to place it down through the cake board of the 6-inch. So this is going to give us extra support to make sure that our cake isn't sliding, that when we're traveling with our cake, that it's still staying in place. We're going to do the same thing with the 6-inch. So now that we have our bamboo sticks, we're going to place a dowel, a larger dowel, directly in the center up, and my AC runs and it kind of opens my door, and my bed wasn't made, so I had to close the door. All right, so we're going to go ahead and place that cake dowel all the way down through the center of the cake and through both of the cake boards, which is the 6-inch cake board and then the 8-inch cake board. And you want to make sure that it's standing straight up. So we're going to push it down through both of the cake boards all the way down to the bottom and through the very bottom of the bottom board. And I used a hammer at the top. At the very top, you can't see it, but I used a hammer at the top of another dowel that it goes down, and you'll actually hear it. And once you hear that it's down in there, you're going to go ahead and place some icing to cover up those holes that you made when placing your bamboo sticks in the large dowel in the middle of your cake. And then I'm going to take that icing and smooth it out and make sure that it's smooth. So now that we have our lovely cake stacked, we're going to go ahead and fill in icing so that the cake looks seamless. So that little space in the middle of our cake board is covered. We're going to do that for both of the tiers, the 8-inch and the 6-inch. Just placing icing and using our offset spatula to go around that icing to make sure that it looks seamless. That way you don't see any spaces in between your tiers. This is what we're going to do now. Once we get our icing smooth out and cover up the space, your cake and your stacking is now complete. So with this cake, there wasn't much decoration needed because this is a naked cake. So I'm going to go ahead and start my border. This border that I'm doing, we're going to do a border on the bottom of the 6-inch and the 8-inch. It is going to be also on the last tier. This is a very easy cake to do if you're doing a beginner wedding cake. You don't need much decoration, and a little bit goes a long way. So lastly, I placed some flowers on this cake. This cake is a very simple cake. Once again, you can get away with this cake just by doing a crumb coat, and this is exactly what this is. And I have a tutorial on how to do a crumb coat with your cake that I would leave at the end of this video, so that you can see exactly how easy it is to decorate this 3-tier wedding cake. Now, this is a full disclaimer, and I really hate to say this, but this cake, once I delivered it to the venue, I placed it on the table with the other pastries because I also did a groom's cake and cupcakes. And I left the area of where I placed the pastries. Now, I got there really early so that I could get everything set up. This was a wedding for a family member. Once I left the table and had everything placed on the table, the workers at the venue were moving the table. I'm really not sure why. One of the legs unfolded from the table and all of my cakes literally fell on the floor. So that was very devastating for me to see. But yeah, my cake got destroyed, unfortunately. But this was the final look of the cake, and I feel like it came out so beautiful. You guys can definitely do this cake if you follow my steps and my easy tips that I've given you in this video, I'm sure you can do it as a beginner cake decorator. You guys would really love this cake. If you decide to do this cake, please let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know how it turned out for you if you do decide to do this cake. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I would definitely catch you next time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Here's a tutorial on how to chrome coat your cake for a solid foundation and a beautiful finish look for a naked cake.